Hey YouTube, I kind of wanted to make a quick video about this whole Sandra Bland incident that's been going on the past week or 2 weeks. I recently saw a video that was uploaded on from a Facebook friend, and it talked about how Sandra Bland was the angry black woman. And you hear that term a lot, angry black woman, angry black man. They always expect us to be angry, but guess who do we learn it from? Fill in the blanks. But what I want to talk about was not so much of her being an angry black woman or anybody being angry, but just being an American. I was talking to my children today after church, and I was talking about how arrogant we are as Americans. And that's one thing people have to realize. We're Americans. We're looked at differently outside of the United States. We're very arrogant in the way that we're brought up and reared. We wake up every morning free to say, do, worship whoever we choose to. We wake up every morning free to become who we choose to become or do what we choose to do. Nobody's there to tell us we can't. As a black person in my late 30s, I can't help but think about how the black culture has changed. My culture, Sandra Bland's age group, even younger, we think differently than those of our parents, the way that our parents did back during the civil rights era. We really have no fear. So it really perturbs me when I hear people talking on Instagram or YouTube or any video news network about her arrogance with the police officer. There was no arrogance. She was simply an American who knew her rights. She had as much right as the police officer who pulled her over, and that's how she felt. That's how we all feel. That's why we're making videos like this one. That's why we're marching like they did in the 60s, but it's a different type of vigor and drive that we have because we know nobody can tell us no. We're aware of that. We aren't ants anymore. Like the movie where the ants outnumbered all those grasshoppers, but the grasshoppers were big and bold and just were running the ants for the longest until the ants realized, wait a minute, we outnumber them. We can run this. We can control ourselves. That's the breed of the black man and the black woman of today. We're not going to take no for an answer because we've been reared not to accept it. We can't help it. It's in our blood. It's in our red American blood. It has nothing to do with black, white, or any other color. It's just the way that we've been designed. And you're not going to tell us no. God forbid if you're a Christian and you know who you really belong to and where you come from. You're definitely not going to say no. You're not going to say, accept no. You're going to kick the door down and tell them and show them who you are. You know, also one of the other issues I want to talk about, these photos going on with Sandra and whether she's dead or alive. Who knows in the photos, the mug shots. I would hate to say that she was dead during the photos. That's sad. But I wouldn't put it past the powers that be, so to speak, because people will do anything to get themselves out of trouble. But the other thing I want to talk about was how they have tried to discredit her character. Well, I thought and I think you discredit people's character when they've committed a crime. You go to any courtroom, when there's a defense or prosecuting attorney, they're going to try to discredit the person that the opposite party. Why is she trying to be discredited for who she was when she never committed a crime in the first place? Refusing to signal or smoking a cigarette is not a crime. If it is, it was only worthy of a citation or a ticket, not to be hogtied, manhandled, or whatever he did outside or away from that dash cam that he knew would have incriminated him for his behavior towards Sandra. I think it's absolutely ridiculous. They said that she had marijuana in her system, but she also said in that video with the police officer that she suffered from epilepsy. How do we know that that wasn't a form of treatment for her? Maybe the over-counter medicines or prescription medicines weren't effective for her epilepsy and her doctor prescribed medicinal marijuana. You know, I think it's ridiculous they're trying to make her out to be a drug addict. And in the video, she obviously didn't seem to be high or intoxicated or under the influence of anything. She got out of the car. She walked straight. She talked straight. She even told the officer, why, I can't smoke a cigarette. She knew exactly what she was saying. She wasn't out of her head. So I think it's ridiculous that the autopsy report would want to mention the fact that she had marijuana in her system as if she was under the influence. Not to mention the days that she was in the jail cell, and I'm not sure the time frame, But just say, if she did suffer epilepsy and used marijuana for medicinal purposes for the treatment of it, think about the treatment that she missed while she was in jail, which in some sense could have been the reason or the cause of her death. I'm not sure what's going to happen with the second autopsy report from her family. But think about it. The jail, the police, they still failed her because they did not give her treatment for her epilepsy. Anybody who's sick, who's ever been incarcerated or jailed for a short time, you have the legal right to take medication for any illness that you have while you're in jail. Who's to say that she didn't die from a seizure? Who knows? But I still feel like the fault of it is at the police department's hand because, for one, she should never have been there. And two, you have to realize, with so much going on in the world with black people and this black-white issue, it's not really an issue of civil rights. It's just an issue of what is right. What is right? You make the call.